All right, guys, this is where we left off in class, most of us anyway. So let me talk to you a little bit about what you're doing with the PhET. So in your notebook, you had a link to the PhET. This is the same simulation we used the other day. And instead of clicking on atom like you did the first time, you're going to be clicking on what's called symbol to investigate what goes on with an isotope symbol. And so when you open it up, it's going to look very similar to the one that you played with yesterday, except for this time you're going to see that we're going to have the isotope symbol displayed right here. So you're going to drag different amounts of electrons, neutrons, and protons into your atom. And as you do that, what you want to do is pay attention to what each of these numbers represent. So the number in the upper right-hand corner, left-hand corner, and our bottom left-hand corner. So what do those mean? And then a letter will actually show up in the middle. What does that represent? So that's what you're trying to answer when you play with this. So please pause the video, go to PhET, try this, and then unpause the video once you're done playing around and check your work. All right, so what you were supposed to be filling into your notebook were the answers to these questions. What goes in the top left number, what is the bottom number represent, and what does the top right number represent, and what is the letter in the center. So you should have seen that as you were dropping protons and neutrons into your atom, that the top left number was changing. And the reason for that is that's the mass number. So this number up here is influenced by both the number of neutrons and the number of protons. So what is the top left? The top left is your mass number. Okay. Then the bottom left number, that's going to be your atomic number. And I realize that is right in the middle of the glare. So this is the word atomic number. Okay. So number 3, it says, what does the top right number represent? So you should have noticed that those, depending on the number of electrons and protons you had, was either a positive or a negative or a 0. And so that represents our charge. So the top right is charge. And then the letter that's in the middle, that is going to be our isotope symbol, okay, which gives us the identity of the atom, meaning what element is it? Is it hydrogen or carbon or nitrogen? What element is it going to be? So that's what you should have gotten from your PhET lab, and you're going to go ahead and fill those in. The next thing that you were supposed to do is be able to interpret our isotope symbols. So we've got lithium up here. And so again, we said that this top number represents our mass number. The bottom number is going to be protons, which is also our atomic number. And this number represents charge. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this information to fill in. So the bottom number is number of protons. So I know based on that symbol that I've got 3 protons. Atomic number and protons are always the same. So we've got an atomic number of 3 if we have 3 protons. And then the charge, it tells us pretty plainly that the charge is positive 1 plus 1. Mass number is this top number up here. So the mass number for this is 7. Electrons and neutrons, we're going to have to do some calculations to get there. Okay, so we know that mass number is equal to protons plus neutrons. So this number plus this number gives us 7. So if we have 3 protons, what could we add to it to equal a mass number of 7? That's what we need to ask ourselves. So if we have 3 protons, what would we add to it to get to 7? So 3 plus what equals 7? That would be 4. And we can double check ourselves. So 3 plus 4 equals a mass number of 7. So mass number is protons plus neutrons. That gave us 7. Okay, so let's take a look. The last thing we have to do is charge. And we remember that charge is equal to protons, and we have 3 protons, minus our number of electrons. So we're going to try and figure out what the electrons are, equal our charge. And our charge is positive 1. So 3 minus what gives us positive 1? So 3 minus 2 would give us positive 1, which means we have 2 electrons. So you're always going to have to do math for the electrons, and you're going to have to do math to get our number of neutrons when looking at our isotope symbol. And so what I would like you to do, hit pause and try and figure out the answers for Sn, which is tin. So try this one real quick and then unpause it for the answer. All right, so hopefully you paused and took a moment. So let's fill in the ones that are easiest. So I know that this bottom number is my number of protons, so protons is going to be 50. 119, that's my mass number, so I can easily, quickly fill in mass number as 119. Okay, charge, right there, that's being told to me right there, that's going to be +4. The other thing that I can get without having to do any additional math is I know that the number of protons is the same thing as atomic number. So if I have 50 protons, my atomic number is 50. So now I'm just left with the two that require some math. So the first one I'm going to try and do is neutrons. That's probably the easier calculation. So I have 50 protons, and I want to know how many neutrons I'd have to add to end up getting a mass number of 119. Okay? So what I'm really thinking about is 119 minus 50 is how many? So what did I have to add? So 50 plus x equals 119. So if I think about that, that's going to end up being 69 neutrons, right? Because 50 plus 69 is going to give us 119. So these two numbers should add up to this number here. Okay. Then to get my electrons is a subtraction problem, remember, is going to be protons. So I have 50 protons minus my number of electrons, so I want to know how many electrons I need, is going to equal +4. So 50 minus what gives me 4? Okay, so 50 minus 46 is going to give me 4, right? 50 minus 46 is 4, so I have 46 electrons. Okay, that's the end of this video. You still have 3 more examples to try. So you have phosphorus, argon, and bromine to do. So you're going to stop this video, you're going to try these examples, and then there is another video that will give you the answers to these 3. So you'll watch that next. There you go.